Welcome to night one of the Rocket and Raygun Awards. I'm your host, Victor Lucas, with your other host, Marissa Roberto. It's so great to see you, Marissa.
Oh my gosh, it's so incredible to be here once again.
Yes.
We're back for more Rocket and Raygun Awards. I dressed all fancy. I don't know where your jacket is, but okay.
I thought about it for about a second and a half, and I went, no, I'm in my basement. I'm not doing that. Everybody knows where I am. I'm in my basement. But we've got a great night of awards to give away tonight. Lots of great conversation. But the first thing I want to do, Marissa, is just get caught up with you. What's happening with you in your life? What are you working on? Where can people watch your stuff? What's going on with you right now?
You set the bar so high. You're like, we're going to have a great conversation. You don't know that. You don't know where this is going to go.
Oh, I do know that because I've been editing those conversations.
Okay, fair enough. I thought you meant from me.
You and I are no, we're always going to have a great combo. Come on.
No, you got to set the bar low so I can only go high. Okay, so I'm just busy. I host Digital Sports Center for TSN social channels every single day, or every single weekday. You can find me there. I post to TikTok as often as I can. I'm mrob29 there and on Instagram. But we're also, I don't even know if I can. Maybe I can talk about this. I don't know.
Sure.
We're going to be doing, maybe. I'm going to be, there's a section of maybe I can't talk about this. Like, wait, now that I'm starting, we're going to be recording something soon in studio that will be on CTV and TSN for the holidays. It's a little section of our show from DSC that we love so much and that we made into a full feature show. So we're going to be recording that this week. And I'm really, really excited about it because it's just fun to listen together and then just celebrate sports for the holidays. Really excited about that. And that's about it.
That's awesome. And you're going home for the holidays. You told me we had about 5 minutes to catch up before we went live with you guys tonight. So going home?
Man. Going home to Saskatoon for just a little while. Yeah, to see my family. Of course, I miss them. My nono just turned 91.
Amazing. I saw those pics.
Yeah. I know. Oh,
you post an excellent collection of you know what's going on in your life, fashion shoots, sports stuff like crazy, and social commentary. I love your stream. It's awesome.
I try. I try to. I kind of hit or check as many boxes as I possibly can because I also want it because people work really hard behind the scenes, and so I have wonderful people that put outfits together for me as well that I feel like should be showcased sometimes. So I don't know. I'm just. Listen, Vic, all we can do is try.
All you can do is try. Hey, and listen, we have a whole bunch of people watching right now. I just want to give some quick shout-outs to, my name is Goku. How you doing? MacGruber, 1988. I saw your trailer. It's pretty funny. Danger Dugan, 89. Mondo Blasto is here. Blarcade. We've got The Last Disciple. We've got Shelf Dust just subscribed. And Super Bob just subscribed. Blue Mystic Ninjas. Oh, my God, it's a subscription mania. I love it. Thank you so much. Zombie Paper 12. Good to see you. Good to see you, Death Drifter. Okay. All right. We are going to get started with giving out some awards and getting into the night's festivities. But first, we've got a sponsor to thank. So let's do that right now. The Rocket and Raygun Awards are brought to you by the Gaming Stadium. They are Canada's leader in online esports tournament facilitation, and they've got tournaments happening every single weekend that you don't want to miss out on. You can find out all about them at tgs.gg. Right now, I think it is time for us to give out an award. We're going to start with a big one. We're going for the action and shooter category, or action/shooter category. Here are our nominees. Halo Infinite, developed by 343 Industries and published by Xbox Game Studios. Call of Duty Vanguard, developed by Sledgehammer Games and published by Activision. Deathloop, developed by Arcane Studios and published by Bethesda Softworks. Returnal, developed by Housemarque and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. Back 4 Blood, developed by Turtle Rock Studios and published by Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment. Oh, there were some great shooters, lots of hardcore action this year to get into. Marissa?
Yeah, and some fancy editing by Victor Lucas, by the way.
Thank you.
And we need to shout that out, okay? Let us stick.
Thank you very much. I was having fun. I'm learning a little bit every day as I'm editing all of this stuff right now. But yeah, some big ones. Did you have a chance to play Deathloop at all this year? It was the
Oh
big.
my gosh, Deathloop. Deathloop was huge. I know. Did not have a chance to play it, unfortunately, but have seen a lot of trailers, have seen a lot of gameplay. It's just one of those things like when you don't play games full time anymore, you have to pick your you have to pick the
Yes,
battles that you might have time for, and a Deathloop was just not one of those. But it's funny because it is a loop of time that
it's
you
a
need to get things done in.
it's a loop of time, and it is a huge time suck too because of that,
Yeah.
right? Because it does feel like you're revisiting a bunch of areas. You're digging deep into the lore and you're figuring out the mystery. But yes, you have to put your life on hold when you play that game, which is part and parcel with
Right.
the kind of roguelike kind of attitude and that idea of dying and starting over again. But it's
Did
an
you feel like it
incredible.
was a Rubik's Cube? Did you feel like it was trying to solve
Yes,
a Rubik's Cube?
yeah.
Right?
That's
A timed Rubik's Cube. Like I don't, it just seemed like it was so stressful.
It was very stressful. Yeah, because I was killing the targets, but
Mm,
not all 8 of the targets within
mm.
the day. And I was trying to figure out where everybody was. Yeah, no, it's an incredible game. It totally gets into your head. And I would say, a lot of the same kinds of things with Returnal, which
Mm.
is another one of those games that it takes over your life. It's all you can
Yes.
think about. It's absolutely stunning and beautiful. A lot of people are raving about Returnal as we're winding up the year and talking about the best games of the year. Did you check this one
100%.
out?
Yo, yeah. Plus, roguelike, listen, roguelike anything will always have a little piece of my heart. I have no idea why I'm drawn to roguelike. I don't get it because it's just nothing but punishing.
Yeah.
But it's so satisfying. The satisfaction of this gameplay from this game alone was, I think, worth its weight in gold. Like if you're going to spend money on a game and if you have a PlayStation 5, then 100% this is a definite pickup. I don't know, like just watching some of these trailers. I mean, how could you not want to just take a little piece, right? Enjoy
It's
it
a
for a moment.
total showcase game for the PlayStation 5. And
Mhm.
interestingly, both Deathloop and Returnal are PlayStation 5 exclusives right now. I mean, Deathloop is owned by Microsoft because they bought
Yep.
Bethesda.
Bethesda,
So
yeah.
chances are pretty good we may see Deathloop on other machines down the road. Uh,
It's gonna be a Game Pass. Sure, download it for free. Why not? With every other game that they have on there. My God, this
that's
year has been
crazy, right?
insane for Game Pass.
I
Yeah.
know, totally. Well, let's talk about a game that isn't on Game Pass, but was a
Oh,
very fun shooter. Controversial year for Activision and Blizzard.
yeah.
In good ways. Like not
Mhm.
for what happened, but I think we're digging into some dark stuff in the games industry at that company and
Yeah.
other companies, and we're trying to make things better. And I think that's really important. But the
For sure.
game.
First step is talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah, but the game was great. I had a really good time with the story. I had a really good time streaming it. Many of the people that are watching the stream right now I streamed the whole game, the single player campaign, the entire thing.
Isn't it so fun? Yo,
It,
but that's important. I need people watching right now because I feel like a lot of people do not do this, especially if they're Call of Duty fans. They do not play the campaign.
I
They
know.
will just go online, play multiplayer, and that's it. The campaign is so good. The campaign in these games is so good. It's just so satisfying. And also using, I don't know about you, but I personally enjoy the World War II weaponry over any
Yeah,
kind of modern weaponry. I really like that old school stuff. It's like super fast paced action. You know what you're getting into with Call of Duty every single time. This
totally.
is no different here. But it was very satisfying. And you know what? We know so many incredible writers that worked on this game as well. Some incredible women that worked on this game as well.
Yep.
And I think it's important to support the artists as well, even though there are some things happening behind the scenes that are a little bit,
Yeah,
seedy. But we
that's the
are
tricky
talking about that
thing,
now.
right? Because
Yeah.
I certainly had hesitations about talking about some of the Activision Blizzard titles and games,
Mm,
and but I want to because I know that there are really creative, passionate, dedicated people behind the scenes trying to entertain us with this stuff.
that's right.
And I was with Call of Duty Vanguard. It wasn't like a shocking out of nowhere. I've never played anything like this before Call of Duty experience, but it was crazy fun. I would say the same thing for Back for Blood as well, which
Mm.
I jumped online with Bear and with Jose, and then some
Those
random
are
guy
cute.
jumped into our party because it's four versus
Yeah.
the zombies,
Hmm.
and he was hilarious, and the night was hilarious, and it was so much fun to stream that. It's a
I
really
did
tuned
find,
game.
yeah, there's a lot of I feel like friend groups. If you have a friend group, this is definitely the
Totally.
game to pick up and play. Obviously, Left 4 Dead vibes here.
Yeah.
But yeah, zombie killing. I mean, zombie killing at its finest. What more do you want? You just want to hang out with friends and shoot some zombies. Well, here
100%.
you go.
Yeah, it was great. Aliens Fire Team was actually a pretty solid kind of runner up in this category, but I think everybody can kind of guess who the winner is or what game is the winner in our action shooter category. It is Halo Infinite, and a big part of the reason why is the multiplayer came out with a real sense of fury and fun. So let's celebrate the winner of the action shooter category. Oh, such an incredible game. Have you got caught up in the Halo hype? Are you playing it? Is Francisco playing it?
100%. It is on the TV constantly. And I think that's literally my only gripe with this game right now is that we don't have co-op yet. And co-op is such an important part of Halo. Like, my relationship with my husband really has been grounded in Halo. Like, one of our first dates, we waited outside of an EB Games for Halo.
That's awesome.
We were waiting for Halo just to be able to play together. And it is one of those things where it's like, he is the Master Chief. I love when you sit down and you pick up the controller and you feel like you are the Master Chief. They've perfected this system. I mean, he is all powerful. He is such a badass. Like, you just feel so good when you jump into this game.
It's just so tight. Perfect.
It's
right?
so tight.
Yeah. I love
it.
Yes,
it feels perfect. It's also scary. Like, they're great jump scare moments too that you weren't. I'm not expecting. I never expect.
Yeah.
But it's a good time.
Yeah, I can't believe it's just a Game Pass. It's free, or if you have Game Pass, it's just sitting right. I know, it's insane. What a world.
Thank you.
All right.
Game Pass, best deal in gaming.
Yeah, it totally is. I asked a bunch of friends in the video game industry, like I like to do, because the Rocket Raygun Awards, yes, they're about, celebrating the year that we've just had and talking about these games. But honestly, since our television era and with these incredible people that I have worked with, like Marissa, it's always been about people. The Rocket and Rayguns have always been about sharing the conversation and bringing lots of people together to talk about this stuff. And so what I wanted to do is I reached out to you guys, the viewers, and also to friends that we have across the community, and I asked them, what have you been playing the most in 2021?
The game I've been playing most this year is easily Halo. Between all of the test flights for the multiplayer, and then now the multiplayer itself, and then now the killer campaign the game offers, there's just so much good. I've been a Halo fan since day one, back in the early 2000s, and here we are 20 years later celebrating Xbox with the return of the Master Chief in all of his glory. I have not had this much fun playing an online game ever. So I can't wait to keep playing and to continue having this be my most played game of the year.
2021 has been a good year gaming for me. I got my Series X and PS5 back there. Probably besides Monster Train and Yakuza Like a Dragon, which I didn't play until this year, the game I played most is definitely Forza Horizon 5. I don't know why I'm so enthralled. I grew up playing the Gran Turismo 2 and 3s, the Split Seconds, the Blurs, Project Gothams, but I've never been enthralled like this by a driving game. It's just, I don't know if it's playing with my friends, the Mexican setting, just the community, the cars, it's the graphics, it's just everything is working perfectly for me, and it's definitely been the game I've played most this year and will continue to play. I love it.
2021 definitely had a lot of games to offer, but I'd have to say that the one that I am enjoying the most right now has come right at the very end, and it's because I'm getting to rekindle some old friendships, and that is Halo Infinite. It has been such a wonderful experience getting to rekindle friendships with Xbox Live friends, some of which I haven't seen since Halo 3. I've been a Halo fanboy ever since I got to first try out Combat Evolved all those years ago, and it has rekindled a love for this series that I thought was long gone since Halo 4 and 5. Halo Infinite has definitely brought the kid back in me, and I can't wait to play late into the night again with some of these guys. Not too late though, I do like to sleep. It's a different period of time for me now.
When it comes to the game that I have played the most this year, I think it's technically cheating because it's 3 games that came in one package. Talking about Mass Effect Legendary Edition. When it launched earlier this year, I replayed all of them I got all of the trophies in each game, and so I can confidently say that I have spent the most time with Commander Shepard and the crew. And honestly, I loved every single minute. I replayed those games to death when they first launched, but being able to go back, you know, after a few years away and just get to revisit the gang and all those good times was honestly amazing. And so I spent the most amount of time playing that game, and I was so grateful for every single second.
My most played game of 2021 by far is Final Fantasy XIV. I have to chuckle a little bit because there was no other game that I spent 800 hours playing in the year of 2021, but here we are. Final Fantasy XIV, of course, my most played game. But why did I spend so much time playing this game that came out all the way back in 2013 on the PlayStation 3 and PC in the form of Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn? Well, it's simple, because Final Fantasy XIV, I feel, just got better and better, even in the year 2021, all these years later, from its fantastic combat, its excellent storytelling, its great cast of characters. For someone like me who's been a big fan of Final Fantasy as a series for such a long time, it's kind of like my dream game in a lot of ways, where there's so many callbacks to previous Final Fantasy games, and I love Final Fantasy XIV to death. It's the game I'm always playing when I come home from work or when I'm just need a day to kind of relax. It's definitely my most played game in 2021, and I love it.
I'm Eric Monacelli, Senior Director of Product Development for Marvel Games. The game I've been playing most this year has probably been Tetris and MLB The Show. Diving into two old standards, my favorite games, just these games I just go back to year after year. I love them both. MLB, I've always wanted to be a baseball player, so been playing that game since it hit and just keep playing it over and over again every year. I love it. With Tetris, it's just a beautiful game. Tetris, I've been playing Tetris Connected a little bit, Tetris 99, Tetris Effect, all the different things that they put out, which I think have been some phenomenal games. And of course, Hades. Keep going back to Hades. I love that game. So a lot of cool games, but yeah, some old standards, just some comfort food this year.
Hey, it's Jeff Cannata from the DLC podcast at 5x5.tv/DLC. And the game that I have been playing the most this year, well, certainly lately, is Forza Horizon 5. I can't get enough of this game. I'm not even a driving guy. I don't like driving. Driving gets me from place to place. I've never loved driving games before, and now I love a driving game. There's so much to do. It's so gorgeous, especially on my super ultra wide monitor. And I love that it constantly rewards every single thing I do. I like how it tells me what my friends are doing. I like collecting the cars. And I've fallen in love with this idea of getting better at driving games, all because of Forza Horizon 5. Who knew?
You're going to be seeing a few familiar faces throughout the week of the Rocket and Raygun Awards. Lots of incredible. We have great friends out there, don't we, Marissa?
We certainly do. You got Jeff Cannata in there. Come on.
I
Come
love
on.
Jeff.
What's
I
good,
love
Jeff?
Jeff. He's moved to Colorado. He's completely changed his life. I follow him on all the socials, of course, and I catch up with him whenever I can. It's such a weird, isolating time. We don't see anybody face to face as much as we used to. I mean, there's a little bit of traveling here and there. I've started to leave the basement to do a few things, which feels a bit weird to leave the basement. I feel like the boy in the bubble sometimes. You know?
He's a bubble boy. He lives in a bubble.
A little bit, surrounded by monitors. But I miss those
have all the
folks.
things.
I
know.
folks.
I get it for sure. They're honestly some of the best people in the whole wide world, and it's just been really sad not to be able to connect, because that's really what the gaming industry is about: community.
It
And so
really
when you
is.
can't connect with that community, it's tough. You try. We have these online friends, of course, which is wonderful, but it's nice having those meetups. So hopefully soon.
Well, we're all busy as hell, though. That's the thing, in our little chambers of making our stuff and doing our things and putting it out into the world. And the meetups that we would do at E3 and the events and things like that were always incredible. Like, you just came away just happy that you're in this business with all these cool people, you know? And what's been really great, and you're going to hear me say this a few times this week, is I didn't really have time to hound people. I basically asked them once, and a lot of people, there were a few that were a little too busy, but a lot of people replied and got me stuff. And these are folks that, I don't always see or always have a chance to talk with. So I'm incredibly grateful to them for being a part of this. And that's kind of what makes the Rocket Raygun special, right? Like, we used to do this kind of thing even way back. We used to invite people to contribute and send us their stories. Even in 1995, in our first years of the Electric Playground website.
You have people
Story
watching that
time.
weren't even born in 1995. Okay, but okay, yeah, let's
It's
go.
story time with Victor Lucas. You guys ready? But I love the idea of reaching out to the video game industry, and we used to ask developers to write us a letter to Santa for what they would want Santa to give them for Christmas based on the stuff that was coming out that year, and we'd post all of those on our website. I bet nobody
You're such a
remembers
nerd.
that.
You're such a nerd.
I know,
No,
I
I
know.
do. I'm just kidding. I do. Like, honestly, my favorite memory just of being in this industry was flying to Vancouver for the first time to host Rocket and Raygun Awards with everybody on the team. And that was just such a highlight. I remember being so nervous. Oh my goodness, we're going to see each other again. This is a real award show. We're doing this, guys.
Yeah.
Such a good time. And then another time, Scott completely got
Yeah, he went down to his
Lakeisha took
underwear.
clothes off.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Well, okay, oh, sorry.
That almost got us kicked off TV. No, I didn't. It was.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
All right, it's time to give away
It's
another
entertaining.
award, and this one is for the best sports games of 2021. NBA 2K22, developed by Visual Concepts and published by 2K Sports. NHL 22, developed by EA Vancouver and published by EA Sports. Riders Republic, developed by Ubisoft Annecy and published by Ubisoft. MLB The Show 21, developed by San Diego Studio and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. Mario Golf Super Rush, developed by Camelot Software Planning and published by Nintendo. So I just so happen to have a co-host from the sporting world. Have you had time to play these sports games? I know you play MLB The Show.
Yeah, MLB The Show, NHL. Honestly, we talk about NHL 22 a lot because I have been able to host a gaming-driven show called Bard Unloadable for TSN. Where literally we could talk about different aspects and avenues of Chell. A lot of it has to do with ratings. Of course, we rarely talk about gameplay now. We just talk about the politics of ratings, which is such a funny topic. It's so fun to debate, like, oh, who went up and who went down? Only about two. Like, it's just
like honestly, it's
fun.
like 94 or 95.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? Is that not that
well,
much?
No,
of a...
well, because honestly, it's important to the players.
Okay.
If it is important to the players, it's important to us.
I guess it's
right?
bragging rights, right?
100% it is. Yeah. So we talk about Chell a lot. Like I sent a message to Sean. I'm like, did you catch this one? He's like, Marissa, you're literally all I see in my feed all day talking about NHL. So sorry, Sean. Here's another one. My God, we do. Listen, it is a lot of fun. If you are a Chell person, if you're a hockey fan and you like video games, I don't know why you wouldn't play NHL and you wouldn't play NHL 22. Like, of course, there are always people complaining. Like, you see it on Twitter.
Yes.
The second they post anything, there's going to be people complaining about whatever it is. I mean, yeah, they tweak the gameplay this year again, and some might stay for the worst just because the passing seems to be a little bit off. And the goalies are a little too inconsistent. But honestly, again, if you're a Chell guy or girl, like, you're going to play it and be happy and frustrated all at once, because it's like a good bowl of soup that's really hot. You know, you're gonna enjoy it. It just burns a little.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's also the first next-gen iteration of NHL,
right.
so it absolutely looks beautiful. And when I was putting the nominee packs together, I was thinking, is it FIFA again, or is it NHL? I think the extra... FIFA's no slouch, but I think the extra effort that has gone into getting this iteration of NHL sort of supplanted FIFA. And honestly, I've said this forever too, like, hockey, I feel, is the sport for the players out there that don't follow sports. You know, you can give a couple of controllers out to people, you sit them in front of any hockey game, and yeah, they're going to be quibbling about, some of the controls and some of the issues, but they're always fun. You know, it's high speed, insanity, big checks and big hits and gorgeous animations. It's incredible.
Oh my goodness, the graphics have been improved immensely. Like they're just, it is
Yep.
gorgeous to look at for sure. It's such a fun game. I definitely recommend. Again, I feel like if you haven't jumped into this world yet, I don't know. It's one of those things like, should you jump in yet? Should you wait to the next one? Maybe 23 will be that game for you. I don't know. But the thing is that Vic, you didn't pick FIFA, but like this is the last time EA is going to have a FIFA
I know.
title.
Is that confirmed?
So-
Is that confirmed?
Well, just because they've been going back and forth. So
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see what happens. But
Yep.
like the second I saw that, I'm like, oh, is Konami like? Konami's like, oh, here we go, Revolution.
Well,
Let's
there's
get in
definitely
there.
some issues happening with the leagues. I mean, we saw that
Mm-hmm.
with MLB being on the Xbox consoles, which was incredible. It was part of Game Pass. And that is here's the thing, right? Like if you like a sport and you really follow it and you love to watch the real life thing, but you also like to play with your pals, you're not going to go wrong with Madden. You're going to have complaints about all of them. They might not be incredibly perfectly realistic, but Madden is a fun game. NHL is a fun game. FIFA is a fun game. The 2K is a fun game. MLB is a fun game. So I feel like it's like whatever is your favorite sport, pick one.
Yeah, go toward that
you're,
game.
You're,
Yeah,
pick
the
your
glitches
silo.
are also fun. Even when you find a glitch, so
Yeah.
much fun. Like you can
Yeah.
post that and go viral online easy. They're
Yes.
just such a good time. But yeah, MLB The Show 21. Again, if you're a baseball fan, obviously you're gonna love it. The fact that this game was free on Xbox
Is
day
insane.
one was crazy insane. Okay, that was wild. That was probably the biggest news of the year for me. Sorry, that was insane when they announced that. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Well, I think
you
that's
cheating,
a
guys?
taste of the future, especially if the rumors are true with Sony having a Game Pass competitor next year.
Yeah.
I think sports games are going to be bundled in on that very soon, and because it's the
Oh, heck
Ultimate
yeah.
Teams and the microtransactions where people make the money.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like the cynicism about it just being a roster upgrade and stuff. I know that these sports
not.
developers work their asses off to try to
Exactly.
innovate and entertain in the 9 months that they have to make the new game.
No kidding.
Right?
I know you
Yeah.
don't even realize what a time crunch that is for them
Yes.
to put a game out, have to keep updating that game while simultaneously working on a new game to make sure that you've got a new one for
Yeah.
the next season. Like
And
it
what-
is crazy how hard these guys work.
What features will creep into the following year? What do you take off
Mm-hmm,
the list? It's an incredibly stressful industry. And, my hat's off to all of those game devs because they work really freaking hard in a very compressed amount of time. And they don't always hit. They're not always great. But I don't know. I certainly don't have the time to devote to one sport and like finesse about and complain about every single detail. And I know a lot of players do that. And that's fine. That criticism, I think, is also valid back for the teams as well. That being
For
said,
sure,
though,
yeah.
the other directions that we have in this category, we've got Super Rush, Mario Golf. Did you get a chance to
Oh
get
my
on the
gosh,
links?
yes. Can we talk
Yeah.
about that for a second? Because I did have a good time playing that. It is a lot of fun. I like playing online with friends. I like doing, the competitive speed golf. That's super fun.
Yep.
But that story mode, what the F was that? Okay.
took too
what
long.
the F was that? Me coming off of playing Golf Story.
Yeah.
You play Golf Story? You're gonna play Golf Story and then you go into the story mode of this game? No. Okay. It was very disappointing only because that it could have been
Yes.
that much better if it
Yeah.
didn't feel so empty. It
The
just
game
felt
felt a little anemic when it launched.
Yes.
It was fun. The core
Yeah.
play of it was fun. But now what they've done is they've updated it with a whole bunch of new content over the year, which I had a feeling they were going to do because they did that with tennis. So now it's a full package and it's worth that investment for sure. But
still so much fun. Just the online is so much fun.
yeah, it's crazy. It's so addictive and so cool, and they're always a treat. But yes, we had Mario Golf and tennis and other types of sports games, this Mario Strikers, when they came out originally, they were so innovative and they just shocked the world with their play and their accessibility. And we haven't had that. We've been trying to reclaim that a bit with these games, and it hasn't quite elevated to that. And I would put Super Rush into it's super fun and it's worthy if you like golf, but it isn't like a stop traffic Mario sports game, which it should be. The
Right,
one that did
yeah.
stop traffic for me was Riders Republic, and that is actually our winner. Let's celebrate that for a second. So yes, I know Riders Republic could have been in a racing category, and I did think about putting a racing category together with Forza and other types of games. And there is a tremendous amount of racing in Riders Republic, but holy crap, is it fun. I streamed that, and somebody said in one of the, I don't know where it was, on one of the things, I hope Riders Republic is in the Rocket and Ray Guns because you were squealing like a little girl when you were playing that game. And I freaking loved the game. It's so fun and crazy.
Goofy.
And goofy. It's in that SSX wheelhouse. Not quite that, status or stature, but really, really freaking good. And and it was the perfect risk for Ubisoft and Ubisoft Fantasy to kind of take this year, Super fun game. Really love it.
Yeah. Congratulations, of course, Riders Republic.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna throw shade. You didn't pick a sports game. That's fine.
Well, I like it when genres pivot a bit. I always like arcade.
You went real
racers.
arcadey on this one, yeah.
I'm that way with arcade racers and. I like extreme environment, kind of like SSX and Wave Race and
for sure.
Listen,
if Snowboard Kids comes out again, we get a remake of Snowboard Kids. It's gonna be on this list. It's gonna be winning game. It's gonna be winning sports game of the year. Easy.
Well, you can give MLB 21 the Marissa Award. We have to.
What? No, I actually would give an MROB to NHL 22 only because of the new IHF update that they're putting out.
Very nice.
We got women. We got women out there wearing their country on their back. I love that so much. It's going to happen very soon. So was so stoked about that update.
All right, so it gets an MROB. All right, so a little contention in the awards tonight, guys, but we're okay. we're gonna continue on. The controversy isn't gonna slow us down one bit. Okay, so I didn't put Riders Republic in the racing category, and primarily it's because there was only one game that was going to win Best Racing Game of 2021. Gotta love it when a game is so good it just like shuts out the category. It's like why bother? Don't even show up. Like I think Jeff had a game award for best racing game or something like that. I mean that is just, it's so obvious that Forza is. It's insane. Are you guys?
Why these other guys even show up?
Are you guys playing that one?
Formula. Oh my gosh, yes, of course. Forza has always been a staple here. It's always been our favorite racing game. Well, Francisco dabbles in Gran Turismo. Actually, he loves that too. But big on Forza. It just gives you everything you would want in a racing game. It's so much fun. Every time you pick it up, it's so much fun, no matter what. The only like mild complaint is like the special races, because whenever you're racing, I don't know if you noticed, if you're doing like the train or the plane, like it's cool, but then sometimes it becomes too automatic where that last turn you're gonna end up winning. Like there's just the formula is always the same. It's never anything new on that. But I guess if they have something that works, they don't need to fix it.
That's kind of the way I felt about 5. Like 3 was the one that like that was almost my game of the year when 3 came out, and 5 is almost a game of the year too. And it's an improvement in many ways, but 3 was one of those like earth shaking. Holy crap! Have you seen what this game is doing now?
It's so good. Oh, I'm sorry. A Game Pass Day 1 exclusive.
I know, right? Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me? Come on, guys.
Well,
Game Pass. What are you
doing? That is going to be the interesting story next year, right? If Sony comes with a Game Pass, Nintendo has got to do something to beef that up too, And that's what the rumor is with their online stuff, is they're going to be spending a lot more in that direction. So we'll see what happens. But Forza Horizon 5 is a phenomenal game, an incredible experience, and Playground Games I think is aptly named. Like I'm really interested to see what DLC they have, like how they're going to extend this game, because this feels like I don't know if we're going to get because they're moving on to Fable, so I don't know if we're going to get a Forza Horizon 6, right? I think this might be the game that we're living in for a little while. I mean, we'll get that eventually, but I don't think they've been on a 2-year cycle. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to take a break from Forza, but I think the DLC in this playground that they built us is going to be extensive. Yeah,
exactly. Because they already know they've got it down packed. Like the formula is incredible. We're picking up and playing on our new consoles. It looks beautiful. I don't really need another Forza game if it's going to look just like this. And like I can't imagine. I mean, they always improve, but I can't imagine them improving even more so on this game. And yeah, focus on Fable. My God, how exciting! How exciting is that?
What could they do with Forza Horizon to make it? I guess they could give us more.
They can give us an undercarriage. They can give us an undercarriage on the cars. There's not. It's just a blank slate down there. There's no undercarriage. Okay, we got nothing underneath there. The cars are so beautiful. The interiors are deluxe. So you got nothing underneath that thing.
You want to put the camera underneath the car?
That's right.
You want to under the car camera?
Let's look underneath it. Well, you're in the garage. You want to take a look?
Okay. Yeah. They could put you in the shoes of being a mechanic.
Exactly.
They're slackers.
Okay, there you go.
Right. Slackers. Come on, playground. It's not all just
Teach me how to change oil.
Yes. All right. We are heading into the big category of tonight's awards, and that is the best game for the Nintendo Switch in 2021. But what I wanted to do was reach out to our friends in the media, some prominent games writers and people that are in front of the camera all the time, and some YouTubers and stuff, and ask them what is the best game for the Nintendo Switch in 2021. Let's take a look.
Easily go with Metroid Dread. That's really up there just overall for me. I really had my doubts. I was one person that had doubts about Metroid Dread going into it. I wasn't sure whether Mercury Steam could totally pull it off. But I think once I started getting the speed booster and like Shine Spark puzzles and stuff, and it's like, man, they like actually really get it. They really get what 2D Metroid fans enjoy in terms of the movement and agility of that game. It's a very tight feeling action experience there, and I've really had an excellent time with it.
My Nintendo Switch 2021 Game of the Year is none other than Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I could have easily said Ace Attorney Chronicles. I could have said Metroid Dread, but I'm not surprised by the level of quality in those games, given the history of their franchises. So when it comes to Dragon Ball Z, we've mostly seen fighting games, but Kakarot has been adapted to open world format. And the game plays great and portable, as well as it does on TV. It looks comparable to the ports on more powerful systems. It's a blast to play and relive through the story of Dragon Ball Z. Even if you've seen it a million times, you haven't seen it like this. And the action is just great, the story's great, side missions and everything just brings the world alive. So that impressed me, and that's my 2021 Nintendo Switch Game of the Year.
For my Switch game of 2021, I'm going with Metroid Dread. It's a great time right now to be a Metroid fan, isn't it? We're talking about Metroid Dread, a brand new 2D Metroid game in 2021 that's taking the world by storm right now. I think the biggest part about this that I like so much is they didn't stray too much away from tradition for these 2D Metroid games. They introduced this sense of dread, which goes along great with the title, but the way it plays, the exploration, without holding your hand too much, really makes me look at the Metroid formula and realize it still works, and I'm so happy that Metroid Dread was received well and was just a ton of fun to play through. I completely recommend it if you have not tried it out. That's why it's my Nintendo Switch game of 2021.
I don't know if this is cheating or not, but my Nintendo Switch Game of the Year for 2021 is also my Nintendo Switch Game of the Year for 2020. That's Animal Crossing, and more specifically, Animal Crossing, the Happy Home Paradise DLC. They have added so much to this game, from the gyroids and cooking to the entire vacation island where you can design homes for all these different villagers, create schools and hospitals and restaurants. And they've added so much to this game that I am almost as addicted to it as I was back in March of 2020. It is by far my favorite Switch game of 2021.
The only answer to this is Metroid Dread. It's the return to the series. I'm not the biggest Metroid fan necessarily. I really enjoy Super Metroid, and I really enjoy Fusion, but I'm not one of those that kind of sit and obsess about the series. I did obsess about Dread, and I think primarily the reason for that is just the absolute sublime atmosphere and the audio design. The Switch isn't necessarily known for the best audio capabilities. This is one of the best sounding games. When you just stop and listen to the environments and see how it all organically comes together, I think Dread is sort of on another level, and it's kind of that Nintendo quality, mixed then with some European sensibilities in Mercury's theme. I was really happy with what they did with Metroid 2. It wasn't perfect, but I saw a lot of potential, and I'm so happy that with Dread, Mercury's theme actually did reach that potential, and I can't wait to see what's up for them next.
My pick for Nintendo Switch game of 2021 would have probably been Metroid Dread. I gotta be honest, Metroid Dread is a game that I ended up really liking a lot. It felt like the classic Metroid games coming back. A lot of those old little beats here and there. It felt very well contained and orchestrated, the way they kind of made everything. And I love that 2D, 3D, I think it's called 2.5D aesthetic. It was really awesome the way the game looked. Wasn't a big fan of the loading screens, but I was still waiting through every loading screen just to get through the entire experience. Regardless though, the game I would probably pick for Game of the Year for 2021 is an indie game called Loop Hero. Loop Hero just came out on the Nintendo Switch, and although I didn't play it on the Nintendo Switch, I did play it on the PC, and I really, really liked it. I guess past couple years, roguelikes have really just been, I don't know, taking up all of my time. But regardless, it's a very good game. If I didn't pick Metroid Dread, I would have picked Loop Hero. So I think I'm gonna pick Loop Hero, even though I haven't played it yet.
Hey folks, what is going on? Justin Masson here with Nintendo Dad. So what is my 2021 Nintendo Switch Game of the Year? Listen, it's pretty simple. It's gotta be the game that brought me back to the early 90s sitting in front of my Super Nintendo. And that game, of course, is Metroid Dread. Wow, a game 20 years in the making. And it was absolutely amazing. It had that feeling of isolation, right? That feeling of, I can't go any further. I need the new weapon. I need the new upgrade. And when you get that upgrade, you just feel invincible. Like nothing can stop you. And you begin to open up and reveal that map. It's absolutely amazing. The power-ups were awesome. And those boss battles, man, those boss battles. I think I just about broke a controller or two. What an amazing game. Metroid Dread is my game of the year for Nintendo Switch 2021.
My pick for the Nintendo game of 2021 has to be Metroid Dread. It is a game that often frustrated me just purely off of how often I would get lost and how often the solution to me getting lost would be for me to blow up a wall that I didn't realize was destructible. And I know that is the name of the game with Metroid, but for me, Metroid Dread was the first Metroid I was jumping into as all right, let me see through this entire Metroid experience. Usually, for me, Metroid is kind of one and done, you know, like I'll hop in for a little bit, kind of get bored with it and not really stick through. Metroid's not my jam, and I've never claimed to love Metroid. I like, you know, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, Guacamelee, and other types of similarly laid out platformers. Metroid Dread was the first Metroid where I picked it up and really dedicated to it. And what I found that by the time I had finished Metroid Dread, I had fallen in love specifically with the boss fights and the combat encounters in the game. I think the way that the game, one, does the Metroid thing of slowly dealing out these abilities and cool maneuvers that you can do, but also them being things that really do add this feeling of power and this feeling of mobility and this feeling of being able to kind of be this cool badass version of Samus. I think that stuff was really cool and really well done, and the way that you would really have to learn the boss mechanics and go through the motions of figuring out how to take out this gigantic beast or how to take out this underwater monster. That stuff was some of the most satisfying content I experienced in a game this year, and it is for sure my pick for the Nintendo game of 2021.
Thank you to Blessing and to all of the contributors that sent us their thoughts. It was fantastic to hear from everybody. And Blue Mystic Ninja says, seems like Metroid Dread wins, because it sure kept coming up. A lot of people, and I had to kind of stagger, that conversation a bit, because it could have just been Metroid Dread over and over again.
Hey, there was one mention of Animal Crossing.
There was, yeah.
Okay.
My daughter picked that up as well. She saw that and was like, she came running over to me as I'm editing the thing. See, Dad, it's the best thing.
It should be. The update should be Game of the Year. Okay, Vic? Give me a break.
It's an incredible update, and I
It's
don't
such a
disagree
good
with
update.
you or my daughter Ruby. It's an amazing game. But we do have some nominees for Best Nintendo Switch Game of the Year. Let's take a look at those nominees. Metroid Dread, developed by Mercury Steam and Nintendo, and published by Nintendo. Monster Hunter Rise, developed and published by Capcom. Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, developed and published by Nintendo. No More Heroes 3, developed by Grasshopper Manufacture and published by Grasshopper Manufacture and Marvelous Inc. Cruis'n Blast, developed by Raw Thrills and published by Raw Thrills and Game Mill Entertainment. So a couple of passion projects in that list, and what I tried to do as best I could for the console-specific nominees lists was make it exclusive as much as possible. You know, that doesn't always work out because, well, the other machines didn't have as many exclusives to pull from this year. But with Nintendo, we did get a couple of crazy exclusives. No More Heroes 3, I think, is probably not going to be on too many Game of the Year lists out there. It's certainly not state-of-the-art. It has some, sort of dated issues visually, and there's some repetition in the gameplay, but it's made with such love and such an incredible sass and an artistic attitude that it won me over. I just loved playing the game, and I loved it so much I rebought No More Heroes 1 and 2 and put them on my Switch as well. I just love that they exist. They're incredible games. And
slow down, buddy. No, that's amazing. But I already see people in the chat, like No More Heroes was it for me. Like a lot of people were really excited about that game, which is
ruled.
amazing.
Yeah, it ruled. And same with Cruis'n Blast, which we could have put into a racing category with Forza Horizon 5.
But Vic said no.
Well, and then Hot Wheels we could have put in there too. That's another great racing game this year. But Cruis'n Blast, why I love this game is, again, this is Eugene Jarvis, the master of the arcade, saying, let's try my arcade experience at home again. And I wasn't even a big fan of the Cruis'n games before, but Blast is another level, man. It's a perfect fit on Nintendo Switch. It's so much color. It's obscene, but it's so fun to play. I played it with my kid, and she loved it too. And it was just it's crazy. I mean, you're jumping over dinosaurs. You pick up a unicorn at some time at a point in the game. You're racing on a unicorn. You're racing on a UFO. It's insane, and I loved it. Such a good game.
So much fun. Yeah. Okay, I get it. I understand why you're picking a few of these now for your list. It's okay.
Yes.
I you know what? It makes me feel like I didn't download as many Switch games as I would normally have in a year.
Honestly, this is why I'm doing the Rocket and Rayguns this way, with reaching out to friends and stuff. It's not like we have teams of people that try everything anymore. Most of media is kind of like that, Yeah. And so I think with this collection of voices and commentary from around the business, we're getting a pretty good sweep of the things that were interesting in 2021 to talk about. And I didn't say this off the top, but if any game is nominated, it's a winner. It's one of the best things that we got this year. And I kind of hate pitting these things against each other.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting discussion,
These are shout-outs, but shout-outs of love. These are
Yes.
Vic's legitimate try these recommendations. All these games on all these lists need to be experienced, and now you sold me on Cruis'n Blast. I hadn't downloaded it. I hadn't given it a go because I was like, I'm good with my racing game.
It's so fun. It even in a world where Forza Horizon 5 exists, Cruis'n Blast should.
Where Forza Horizon 5 exists,
you should still have Cruis'n Blast in your collection. It's very good. Monster Hunter Rise getting a lot of love on the chat there, and it should. An incredible game. What blew me away about Monster Hunter Rise is that then 2 months later, Capcom said, here's another Monster Hunter game, which was also excellent. Monster Hunter Stories 2.
You're like,
and I was like,
what are you kidding me?
What are you doing? What? But they're different games, but they're so fun. But Rise is another level. It's just like, how is this working on this? How did they do that? It's magic.
Rise they put in that tower defense mode too that you can play, right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, and all the multiplayer and online stuff, and then there's DLC, and you can ride around on the back of the Okami Wolf, and
there's so much to do.
It's so big and huge, and the verticality that they introduced in that game, absolutely gorgeous. And Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's, the Super Mario 3D World needed to be brought back into the world again. You know, no pun intended. That was excellent, and it was really fun to revisit that. But Bowser's Fury was even better than that. It was insane. It was so good.
I know, it was just Mario with a little bit of spice. Like it was nice. I mean, they're not. I don't know. It's just one of those things where you download it, you know it's going to be a good time. There was no part of me that felt like, oh, this is going to be a waste of time. Heck no, never, never with Super Mario 3D World, of course not. But yeah, the addition of Bowser's Fury. So lovely. Thank you, Nintendo.
Irrefutable. One of the best releases of the year. But of course, that leaves one. It's a game you've heard about many times already tonight. And yes, of course, our winner is Metroid Dread, and we're going to celebrate that right now. I saw somebody write easy win. I don't think it was an easy win. That game took 20 years to get to us. I think there was nothing easy about Metroid Dread at all. I mean, I'm so glad that it exists. I think it's insane that Nintendo hasn't said, hey, this was a huge hit and everybody loves it. We've got more in the works. They still haven't said anything about that. But yeah,
they're going to make us wait again. They're going to make us wait again.
You found it too challenging, though, when you played it? I've heard that commentary a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to bait me out, Vic, but I am a quitter. Sorry. So I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I am a quitter. I do quit after I fail. I don't know, sometimes 5 times, sometimes 10 times. If I'm feeling really spicy, maybe 15. But Metroid Dread was very difficult. It's very difficult, but honestly, I'm just so proud to suit up as Samus. I'm proud to jump in there and just give her a go. And it has all of those things, those tropes that you need in this Metroidvania game. Like, it has everything. It's just so exciting to go and go into a space, leave it, go somewhere else, get something you need for the other space, then you go back. You got to go back because you got to complete it. It's just so challenging. It's just that 2D joy that you'd want from a Metroid game, and they brought it. They really did.
Yeah, they killed it. It's going to be really interesting to see what their 3D game does to kind of elevate on this. Especially because of the challenge now that Returnal has kind of introduced into this space as well. But Dread was amazing. It was honestly very difficult for me to hear about Dread so much through the Rocket and Rayguns this week and not be playing it. It's because it's one of those games you obsess about, right? Yeah. Like a lot of these games. But Dread is a very special experience. I have heard some great commentary, though, about its lack of accessibility, and I think this idea that it's too challenging for you or for other people speaks to that. And I feel like Nintendo should offer an opportunity to patch it, to make it a little bit more inviting for folks without ruining the core experience of the game. I don't know how to do that. That's your job, Nintendo. But I think it's such a wonderful game. It should be played by more people.
Yeah, it would be nice to have everyone experience this for sure. It's just not one of those games you have to have. You have to have a lot of skill to complete this game. And for those of you who have, my hat goes off to you. Congratulations.
You are going to be getting into boss fights again and again and again. It's part of the game. It's part of the challenge. It's a little rogue-like-esque in that way. But God, you feel so powerful when you beat those big bosses and those creatures, and you solve some of the puzzles. What a wonderful game. Just beautiful. And a perfect fit with the Switch OLED. Did you pick up an OLED this year?
No, Vic, come on, give me a break, man.
Yeah, I know
it's just there's a lot going on. No, it's not that. It's that I have a lot of consoles here. I got my things. Okay, I got my light. I love my light. I really do. I love my light so much. You take it with me everywhere. It's just so fun.
You have a skateboard collection. You
seem to get more collection.
You get more skateboards happening behind you every time we get you
my
on the
apartment
show.
Is closing in on me. Okay, we got issues. For another podcast. Okay.
Well, that is our last award for the evening. The way that this works is all throughout the week. I didn't want to do a 5-hour show or even a 3-hour show, and I'm not throwing shade at you, Jeff. But I wanted to stretch it out over the week and celebrate a little bit. So I'm coming back tomorrow with Bear Safi is going to be my co-host tomorrow. And then Jose Sanchez on Wednesday. On Thursday, it's going to be Sean Hatton. And then on Friday, we are going to reunite for the Game of the Year. And we've got lots of great guests coming in throughout the week, lots of fun and familiar faces and voices. But Marissa Roberto was my co-host tonight. I'm so lucky that you're here. I miss you like crazy.
I miss you so much. Oh my gosh.
I can't wait to see you in person. Like,
no, we said this last year at the same time.
I know.
We can't say it like that again.
And now there's another damn variant. What the hell is happening? What is going on?
I know. It's a topic for another podcast.
A different day.
Another day.
But before we go, I just want to give another special thank you to our sponsor. The Rocket and Raygun Awards are brought to you by the Gaming Stadium. They are Canada's leader in online esports tournament facilitation, and they've got tournaments happening every single weekend that you don't want to miss out on. You can find out all about them at tgs.gg. Thank you especially to Marissa Roberto for joining me tonight, and thank you all for watching. Thank you to our contributors around the industry, and also thank you if you have sent and submitted your videos. You're going to see them throughout the week. We'll see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, and you guys know what to do until then, right? You're going to play forever.